It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. And you know, one thing about the internet, you can always kind of track people down, right?
If you're good
before they start being tracked down by other people. So I'm just scrolling the news cycle, and I see somebody who has some Atlanta roots. And so I go on Instagram, and I said, hey, Dynzell, are you still in Atlanta? And he was like, yeah. I was like, you should come in and do an interview.
Not Denzel Washington.
Yeah. Dynzell Sigers.
Sigers, right.
But we'll get to the whole part of that in a minute, because I'm sure he's named after somebody we know. But, you know, he responded, and he's in the studio. And then after that, I see now everybody has discovered what you set about to do to change your life. First of all, welcome, man.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. So you came in, you were on crutches.
Absolutely.
How many surgeries have you had?
So far, 4. When I'm done, I'll have had 6.
Okay, so 6 surgeries total.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who don't know the backstory, what made you decide, like, how do you even find out about being able to change your height? How are you, like, on the internet? Like, what happened?
So I've been looking for ways to change my height since I was about 15 years old, and I always just looked it up on the internet. Nothing really that worked came up. Last year, it just so happened, I Googled, like, how to get taller, and limb lengthening came up. So I scheduled an appointment to do it here in America, and then 2 weeks before my appointment here in America, I found limb lengthening in Turkey that could get me taller than America, so I went over there.
Some people are calling it a male BBL. When you hear that saying, what do you say? Like,
I think it's hilarious. I mean, to me, it is body modification, but I find the whole male BBL thing pretty funny.
What would you call it?
I don't really have a name for it. I've been calling it knee-BL.
Knee-BL.
I like that.
Okay.
One time for the knee-BL.
Yeah, knee-BL. Okay. So, how tall were you originally?
I was 5'5", just barely.
Barely 5'5".
Mm.
Kirk Franklin's height.
Mm.
How tall will you be after all this is over?
So I'm standing at 6 foot right now, but as my posture corrects, I might get a little bit extra.
Okay.
But right now I'm standing at 6 foot. I won't know my actual height until I'm completely done.
What has been the response of people when they see you?
So it started out, at least on the internet, it started out like people were really harsh. People were saying the craziest things. Some people actually like say they hope I never walk again.
Wow.
But it didn't faze me because I knew what I was doing when I posted it. I didn't care. But as I grew and more people started to see it, it's been very positive lately. I haven't even been getting jokes anymore. Now so many people just reach out because they're interested in who I am as a person and why I did it.
So how do you end up in, you said you went to Turkey?
Absolutely.
So what is that, when we come back, because I want to ask you, walk us through this process.
Absolutely.
And also the fact that, this isn't something that was cheap.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about that too. All
Absolutely.
right. We got more coming up. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. He's calling it a knee-BL.
Knee-BL.
But the internet called it the male BBL. He's going to be how tall at the end?
Hopefully 6'1" once like my posture corrects.
He's 6 feet now. He was 5'5", and he's got the internet on lock. We got more coming up. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. So you know who we are?
Yes. My family is very familiar with you. This was my interview that I was looking forward to the most. That's why I responded so quickly.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. So let's get into the going to Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Had you ever been outside the United States before?
Yes. When I was in the military, I've been all over the world, actually.
Okay, so it wasn't a big deal.
No, not at all.
But when you have the conversations, how many people had they done this on before?
A lot. This particular center, like this surgery has been around for a while. It started off as on World War II vets that like were having issues coming back from war with their legs. But this particular center started back in about 2020 after the owner underwent the surgery 3 times to go from 5'1" to 5'10", and then he decided that he wanted to do this for other people. So then he opened up a center.
So he tried on himself first.
Absolutely.
And then said, okay, let me see if I can help other people.
Yeah, now he's a multimillionaire.
Wow. So it cost $81,000?
Yes.
That's why he's a multimillionaire.
No, but I'm saying, Dynzell, like, people going to be asking, how did you come up with that kind of money?
So fortunately, I've always been very good with my money. I've worked multiple jobs since I was about 13 years old. even while I was in the military, whenever I was home and not deployed somewhere,
Yeah.
I was working 3 jobs just because I've always been, let me put my money to the side for a rainy day, and I've saved up a very substantial amount.
So you had this just kind of stored, just waiting on this opportunity?
Well, I didn't know that it was going to be this
Right.
that I use it for, but my goal has always been to reach the status of a millionaire, so I've just always been trying to save for that day.
Okay, so, you talk about the quality of women that you were meeting at 5'5".
I knew that one was coming.
Because it keeps,
Oh, yeah.
and you were, because I've seen you on other interviews. How has that changed at 6 feet?
So it's been pretty insane. Like, the women I meet now are like, and don't get me wrong, the women I dated before, they were, they were nice, they were pretty and everything. But the women
Come on, D. Keep it 100 now.
No, I've dated some very, very attractive
You had some
women.
dimes out there, right?
I wouldn't call them dimes. I say about an 8. Solid
Okay, you had
eights.
some solid eights.
Now the women that approach me are, I can't even give them a number. Like,
Wow.
And I'm still on crutches. That's what surprised me most.
When you standing up, boy, it's really gonna go down.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm waiting for when I put my weight back on, and when
Yeah.
I'm walking normal, it's gonna be crazy.
So, ideally, because I guess, what would your stature be? You'd be 6'1" and how many pounds? What you gonna be doing walking through the door?
I want to get back up to. I was about 170 when I underwent the surgery. I want to
Yeah.
get up to 185.
Okay. When we come back, we got more because the man squirreled his money, man. He's just been saving around.
That's good. You're
Yeah.
doing better than me. I can't get nothing, I get a soda and just to get my weight up. That's it.
And then you borrowed that money from me.
Right.
So
So we're both what we call ourselves, Sean?
TBT.
TBT.
Two brokes together. We got more coming up, man. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. The BBL, not the male BBL. Dynzell Sigers is joining us in a exclusive.
Right.
He hasn't done any radio interviews. He said he was, quick to respond because his family knows about the show.
He's
and we're very
excited
happy.
about this one.
Were you, Dynzell, and I'm not trying to be offensive, did you have the Napoleon complex? Were you that guy that was always starting the trouble in the club, in the military? You the one that hit the people with the beer bottle on the way
Right.
out?
The first
No.
one.
Was you that guy?
I've always been a very relaxed guy. I had, issues with stuff like that in high school, but as I got older, I've always been a very relaxed and to myself type of guy. I've always known I was a small guy, though, and I've always hated it because it was just something that bothered me, like, on a regular basis. And the older I got, the more childish I felt because I looked in the mirror. I was like, I feel like a child, and I'm a grown man at 27 years old.
Like a child.
I felt like I looked like a child. I would volunteer. I did a lot of volunteer work. I worked with kids a lot, and like I would do middle school stuff, high school stuff, and these kids would be so much taller than me. And I'm
Right.
like, that's insane. Like, there's a multitude of reasons why I did it, but I just always knew I was a small man. And no matter how much weight I put on or how big I got, I was still considered a small man.
First of all, thank you for your service. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate what you've done for the country. At what point, what was your thought on the day that you said, you know what, bump this, I'm doing the surgery? What was that moment?
So-
What made you say it?
So it's funny. I actually was in a very bad relationship, and it was messed with my head. I never knew what depression was until I dealt with somebody that was super depressed all the time, and somehow it dragged me down with her, unfortunately. But I started. Everything started eating at me. I started to hate myself, hate the way I look, hate who I am, and I had never felt this severity of it before. So I was like, okay, cool. I want to change my entire life. I want to change who I am. And I was like, I started praying. I got close to God, and I was like, I want to build myself up to be the best man I can, including height, everything. So I Googled how to get taller, and I was like, please just give me something like realistic, because I've never found anything realistic. The same day, this was last year, the same day I found it, I booked my appointment here in America. But they can only get me to 5'10". So 2 weeks before my appointment, I Googled it again because they were going to charge me $150,000 to get to 5'10". I Googled it again 2 weeks before my appointment, and then boom, Turkey came up, and they could get me to 6 foot 6'1". So I was like, absolutely.
Wow.
So you had no second thoughts,
None.
and you had no regrets,
Not a single one.
even after 4 surgeries.
Even after I've never underwent surgery before, and I'll probably never, besides getting the nails removed once I'm done, I'll never do surgery again. That's my intent. I'm very happy with myself. I'm very content in who I am, especially now. But yeah. that's how I feel. Like,
So for somebody who's listening to this on the radio, what exactly is in your legs right now? And describe the process, because I think reading the story, what all did they have to do?
so what they do is they cut the bone, like they put you to sleep, they cut the bone, and then they put a rod in between the bone, and they attach a device that goes, like, that's outside the leg to the rod inside the leg through pins, so there's open holes in your legs the entire time.
Yeah.
And basically you turn a key, and every day it lengthens you about 1 millimeter, sometimes more. And that's pretty much how the process works. I did it both on my upper leg and my lower leg, so I did surgery twice, and I have 6 broken bones right now.
Right now, as you
At
walk
this very
around.
moment.
So you're going to be 6'1", hopefully at the end of this.
Absolutely.
And you have your weight back on. You know, are they going to make your shoe size bigger?
I feel like my proportions worked out perfect. They do other surgeries, not for feet, but they do other surgeries that people are very interested in. But they even lengthen arms.
So what size shoe do you wear?
9.5.
Okay, so that's not,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm
I said
very-
you was walking around 6'1" with a size 6. That would not be a good look.
Be tipping over.
Are other guys that you know that were like 5'5" or like what? Because I'm seeing responses on our live stream. There are people that are saying like, my son said he want to do it. Like, how big of a deal is this? Because you're kind of like a poster child for this. Because
Absolutely.
first
In
of all,
America, at least, yeah.
but first of all,
Worldwide.
you're a brother doing this in something where women have made this almost normalized, going down and after pregnancy or don't want to do whatever they want to do to get right, other than, you know, exercise and dieting. They just go get this. Like, you're like the catalyst for this. What are other men saying to you when you go out or either on the internet? What are they saying?
Initially, it started off with mostly hate. A lot of women would like be siding with me and everything, like, oh, like we do BBLs or whatever. But a lot of men like were shaming me for it, which, like I said, I didn't care. But like I said, once the tide turned and I got so big, now men are like the same men actually, but a lot of men message me daily. Man, you're an inspiration. You're amazing. Like,
Nice.
how can I get here? Can you do like teach me how to get to that point? Like, and a lot of people have actually seen the amount of dedication and hard work as you watch my story that I put into this, because I went through the worst pain I've ever dealt with in my entire life for 6 months. And when you watch all my videos, I smiled every single day, even in alone at night when I couldn't sleep. I would look up to God and I would say, thank you for this opportunity. And I would look in the mirror and force myself to smile, because all I could think is, I'm here, I did it, and I no longer have to deal with that insecurity anymore. So it was like, I would tell new patients all the time when they came, I would say, all right, do you want to deal with this pain for a short time or
Right.
deal with the pain of being short all your life? Like, which one is it?
The pain of being short all your life. We got more with Dynzell Sigers coming up in just a second. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. And we're back on Ryan Cameron Uncensored. Dynzell Sigers is here. Are you named after Denzel Washington?
I asked my mother that. She says no. She just loved the name Dynzell.
She lied.
Right.
That's what I said.
Come on.
He's giving a
Doesn't
side
love
like,
Denzel.
really? Really, Mom?
I love my name too, though. The way it slides all the time, I'm like, okay. I'm glad you named me Denzel.
So, how has it been for you confidence-wise?
My confidence is through the roof. Like, you can't tell me anything. And it's not necessarily egotistical. I just feel like I can't be stopped. I feel like my life is on an uphill swing. But it's not even just because of the height. It's because of all I went through to get it. Like,
Right.
I struggled and I overcame every single day for 6 months, because you can quit. You can stop whenever you want. There are patients who couldn't take it and got less than an inch out of the surgery and they still pay for it. But
No money back.
they work with you, but I never got the details because I never quit. I knew for a fact I was never going to quit. I always knew I was going to do 2 surgeries from the day I got there.
Right.
They didn't want to let me pay for both because they said most people quit. And I was like, nah, I want to pay for both. Like, I'm not quitting.
Now, people are going to ask, how painful was this? Because you go into a doctor and they'll ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain level today? What was your pain?
This process brought me closer to God than I've ever been in my life, because I struggled the worst, and I've broken bones before. I've like been through some crazy things. This pain was like unlike anything I experienced. But the first week is the worst. When you wake up, the swelling, like adjusting to trying to walk, trying to stand is very difficult. So that first week was like, it was pretty rough. But once you get through that, My painkiller, because I don't like to take medication.
Right.
My painkiller, I was in the gym every single day for 6 months, working out, trying to like keep the pain, and it would put me to sleep. I would spend 8-9 hours in the gym a day.
After you turn this key for 1 millimeter a day, did it feel like you could feel your skin actually separating?
Not until I got about 3 inches.
And then tell us what that felt like.
So initially, like you couldn't feel it. You feel like the pain from the pins like protruding through your skin and everything like that. You feel the pain from you losing flexibility because your muscles are literally being stretched apart. But yeah, as you continue to go through it, once you get to the part where everything you feel it stretching.
Yeah.
Once you start to feel it stretching, it's not necessarily painful. It's just a little discomfort because it doesn't. So there's no escape from the pain. Really, it's there, but most people who complete the process are happy with their new lives and they've reintegrated back into society perfectly fine. But
the people who have quit, you said there was a number of
very
people.
Few. It's been few that I've watched quit, but they regret it.
After 1 inch and 80 grand, people have.
Mine was 80 grand. I did surgery.
Because you did two surgeries, so 40 grand of surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any. I'm just looking at you in awe. Here's a question, real quick. So once everything is done, and you're up strong and you running, what you want to say to the women who fronted on you earlier, B?
Oh, they've already started. They've turned them corners quick.
They fallen in the. What's your inbox look like? That's what I want.
So
to know.
What's the DM look like, Dynzell?
I've been okay with women in person. I've never been good at dating apps. I've never been good at like anything that doesn't require face to face. But now, like my DMs are like flooded, like hundreds of messages a day to the point where it's hard for me to take up business opportunities because so many women are messaging me, so many men too. And it's been insane. Like I've never gotten this much attention on social media before. So
how do you plan on, like, is there a way for you to monetize this?
That is what I'm working on. So part of the reason of me sharing this story was to share with men that you don't have to stay short. I wanted people to know, because a lot of people are embarrassed about this process.
Right.
So I decided to be the one to put my story out there, even though I didn't want to.
Yeah, because you could have done it and nobody would have known.
Most people go that route.
Yeah.
But I decided to share it because I wanted men that felt like me to know that there was opportunity out there for you. But also, I plan to use, because I would perform in the center, I plan to use this to launch my music career.
Okay, so what type of music do you do?
I actually do rap and hip hop.
Okay. Put on a beat. What's your style? Who is your, if we heard you,
I don't think there's anyone like me.
Dynzell, for real.
I don't think there's anyone like me.
Dynzell look like he walking around with a guitar.
No, we're going to put this to the test. I want to hear what you got. I want to,
Bars.
Are you a different bars now that you're taller?
Actually, I spent the last 6 months writing daily, every single day.
Yeah, while you were going through this process.
I'm working on my ability to freestyle. It's getting okay, but
you have some stuff that's written down too, though.
Absolutely.
Okay, you got the stuff in there. All right.
Absolutely.
We're going. I want to hear it.
Hear this. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going. When we come back, we're gonna put on a beat. Go find your bars. Yeah, we're gonna break the internet. You ever heard of Tall Dynzell? You about to hear it in a minute. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored, and we're back on Ryan Cameron Uncensored. The BBL is what Dynzell Sigers calls it.
The BBL.
Not the male BBL, but the BBL.
Have you patented that phrase yet? Because if not,
go for it. I have not.
You also have a musical career that you're working on.
Absolutely.
How long you been doing, rhyming?
Fortunately, I've been doing it for a while now. Unfortunately, I just never had the confidence to go far with it. I've done a few small performances here and there, but I just lacked the confidence to take it as serious as I needed to, which is also part of the reason I did the surgery, because that I could fake my confidence only but so long, but eventually the true me would come out, that insecure, that little boy, that man that feels like a child.
Okay. So what is your rap name?
Big NTK.
Big NTK.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're gonna see it.
And he's true to that. He's now big NTK.
NTK, and now they know.
All right. Here you
Now
go.
they know. Hey, TQ.
Baby, so bad, she don't got no soul. Trying so hard not to lose control. Sometimes might bend, but I'm never gonna fold. Shit been my dream since 7 years old. Left wrist froze, young nigga chose. Ball year round like a young D Rose. New bitch mad cause I won't propose, but you wasn't there when I fought through the lows. Ricey got bigger and bigger and bigger. Old bitch mad, she out of the picture. No, she reminisce when she off that liquor. Thumb to get so sober. You count 6 figures, been chasing my dreams and I'm almost there. I remember a time when they really ain't care. Now they hit my line like you so red. And these other niggas lame, they don't compare. Swing this way, baby, if you dare. Fuck all night while I pull your hair. This shit so good, nigga stop and stare. Make a arch your back, put ass in air. One track mind, right to the day that I aced the assignment. Heart so cold that they never gon' find it. One of a kind, do I need to remind it? Hey, I'd have been blessed, stressed and test, but I passed every one, so I'm not like the rest. Almost gave up, I do confess, cause all that weight almost caved my chest. Called on God when my life was a mess. Help me better slow, cause I need a little rest. He stepped in, got it all addressed. Now I'm back from the dead. Are you not impressed? How he come so far, but he still so far. Put my brand new bitch in a brand new, put a brand new switch on a brand new block. Work time dead, don't know how to stop. Spend 10 bands every time that I shot. Don't really wanna fuck, but I do want top. She give me head to a jaw go lock. She know that a young nigga cream of the crop. Money got long, finesse game strong. Try to copy and paste, but they cannot clone. Violence is something I do not condone, but if you play tough, it's whatever you want. Bitch, you wanna fuck when they hear my song. Find my location, pop up in the thong. Don't need pills, fuck all night long. If the bitch got a man, then she gets sent home. Rexy got bigger and bigger and bigger. Rexy got bigger and bigger and what? Rexy got bigger and bigger and bigger. Can't deny that I'm just that nigga. Say that I'm not, how the fuck you figure? These niggas so soft like poo and tickle. Left hand on wheel, right hand on trigger. I chop a nigga down like a bitch getting scissored. Walk in the store and I buy what I like. Don't really matter the cost of the price. Life is a gamble, I'm rolling the dice. If it don't work at first, then I'm rolling it twice. First name big, last NTK. Ball like pro, no NBA. Just last year most clouds was great, but now I don't show unless they pay. Said let's fuck, I said no way, but now that I'm up, they say okay. All of them games that a bitch will play. Same damn reason, can't let a bitch stay. Took a little time, had to work and pray, but I never lost hope, shit gon' be straight. Way back then, life not so great. Now way too many M's sitting on my plate.
Hey, one time.
Did not take a breath. I see you, boy.
Baby, welcome to the party. I like that. Okay. So now that that's being said, you've got the music career about to pop off. You're taller.
Absolutely.
What's the ultimate goal? Do we want to find marriage? We want to find love? What's up?
Love is not really on my radar right now, and it hasn't been since I made the decision to leave that relationship. I realized that, unfortunately, I was a man that would give my all to people who didn't deserve it, and all I ever wanted out of a relationship was someone to support me and push me, because I lacked that confidence to support and push myself. So I spent this last year, because this process started the day I Googled the surgery. I started reading, I started praying so much. I spent the last year trying to find myself as a man, because I never found myself as a man. And now I feel like I finally am getting there. I finally have the confidence. I finally have everything I need. And my goal is to become the greatest in the world. I want to inspire other men. I want to inspire people. I want to write a book. It's so much I want to do. But overall, music is my passion. And I have a lot of respect for a lot of people in the game, but I want to be the greatest to ever live. And I know God has that set for me.
So basically, you're going to tear the streets up.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
I feel like
Dynzell is for the streets.
I feel like there's
you got out of this relationship. You got to talk, and now you out in these streets.
Absolutely. Well,
because
so,
I mean,
I'll be honest.
based on the rhymes I just heard,
Right.
bitch says she want to fuck, but something. I mean, you just said it.
You're for the
You're for the streets.
You're for the streets.
I'm actually, and unfortunately, I have to tell a lot of women this. I'm actually on a cleanse right now. I promise God that
You're on a clean street.
No, a cleanse
I'm saying the streets are clean.
Oh yeah, I'm on a year cleanse from sex. I promise God, if He helped me reach my goals and help me become the man that I wanted to be, I would take a year off of sex. And I just hit that year mark, or I'll be reaching that year mark next week. But I think I'm in such a great mental place, I'll hold off until next year maybe.
So you were celibate for a year while all this was going on.
I've been celibate.
The anniversary is coming up next week.
Next week.
But you're saying you're just going to keep it going?
The way that I've found myself, unfortunately, I just can't afford distraction right now. And unfortunately, I learned in my past I was a man that got distracted by women.
I don't know, D. I hear you, bro.
I
The
just
time is
good.
about to be up, man. What if they come at you? Because now everybody going to know that time is up. What you going to do?
It's insane, the women, and it's so tempting. It's so tempting.
What are they sending you in the DMs? Uh-oh.
Man, I have women saying, like, they'll have my baby right now. They'll marry me right now. Like, telling me, like, oh, let me fight. Like, man.
They sending you pictures?
I've gotten a few, but not too many.
They trying to get flued out?
They trying to fly me out.
Word?
They trying to flew you out.
They're trying to fly me out.
But for everybody that's in the DMs right now, what's the message that you want to put out there about this sabbatical and the celibate, and you being really, all jokes aside, being like down with this craft of your spiritual cleanse?
Unfortunately, I have to do this for myself, and I mean, they weren't there when I didn't have it, so I don't really care if they're there now.
They wasn't with him shooting in the gym.
Dynzell Sigers, knee BBL. Yeah, man.
One time.
Can't wait to see when you get your height and your weight up, man, and his career jumps off. I mean, because we ain't gonna lie, you was doing your thing, bro.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. I wrote that today.
That's what's up. We got more coming up. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. One thing I gotta ask you again, because we're talking about men's mental health, and you talked about as this relationship ended, because you said they were in such a deep depression, but they were also jealous of the attention that you were getting. How did you deal with that, and how bad did it get for you?
It was very rough because she was someone that was very hard to let go, but she just didn't support me the way I needed to. And she knew music was my dream, but she was pulling me from it constantly because she I guess saw the light. Now I realize she saw the light, but before she always doubted my music, didn't want to listen to it, but then would get mad when other people would get excited about it. And I just started doing performances last year, and in that same time frame, trying to please her, I stopped.
Did you feel like she was in competition with you?
I'm not sure, because she was trying to better herself, but she just wanted me to. She told me she wanted me to be a stay-at-home dad while she works.
Wow.
And I told her, "It's no way."
Yeah.
My aspirations are too big. I feel like I'm destined for more, and she literally didn't want me to do that.
Has she reached out to you since all of this?
Absolutely.
How many times?
A lot.
More than 10?
I don't know. I have her blocked now, but initially,
You had to block her?
Yeah, I have her blocked.
Okay, so what was a moment where you said, okay, I got to block. This is too much?
When she had other people calling me too.
From like burner phones and...
No, their number. I had their number.
And you knew who it was. Mm. And so you pick up the phone, you're like, yeah, this is Dynzell. What would they say?
I wasn't even answering. I was so locked in because I knew that this particular one, like, women have been my distraction, but I knew this was the one that could pull me down, because I don't know how it's possible, but she stopped me from going towards my dream. But now I realize it was all needed, because now I'm going harder than ever.
Right. So where was she from?
I won't drop that information. Many people will understand who it is if I do.
Was she famous? Would we know her?
Not well. You wouldn't know her. She was well known where we were, just our area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So people who are listening, they know her right now, because
Probably
y'all were a public couple, right?
To an extent.
Okay.
To an extent, I would do the whole, because I was doing music, I would do the whole cover her face, she would cover my face, but people knew.
Wow.
Because obviously my tattoos, and
right.
She had a very specific look, so people knew.
Okay. All right. There you go. So for people who are struggling with their dreams and dealing with depression, what would you say to them? What would be your thoughts to those people who found themselves this year where you were last year?
I'm really glad you asked me that, because I've achieved a level of happiness I didn't know existed. But unfortunately, as I feel like now where I am, I feel like as a man, in order to get to where you want to be, you have to take that time off. You have to put in the work. Anywhere you are in life, and I say this respectfully, anywhere you are in life is your fault, and you have to accept that. I had to accept that where I am is my fault, and if I want to go farther, whether it's good or bad, no matter what, where you are is your fault. So you have to do something about it. And I think that for most young men, my advice would be take a break off women, because it's so easy to get wrapped up. And I would say focus on yourself, put in the work, build that foundation. And then, if you have a woman that's holding you down and she's everything you need, cool. But most of us don't. So build that foundation, build that empire, so that she's only an addition, not your foundation.
There you go. Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. We got more coming up. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored.
I don't know what he thinks about me, what he feels about me. We just started trying to build a relationship, but unfortunately, it's not working out so well. We just started trying to build a relationship last year.
Y'all butting heads?
No, we're not butting heads. He just doesn't seem to care.
Now, how many people is it in your family?
I have a large family, but unfortunately, no one in my family really deals with me. I'm getting more calls and texts now than ever. Prior to, I didn't have much support.
Were you like the black sheep?
My mom was a black sheep.
Okay.
So it trickled over to her children.
Okay, so your family, you're kind of like outcast, and then you do this, and how are they reaching out to you? They all of a sudden they got you accepted.
So I have like some support from my family, like some here and there sprinkles. So it's not like just everyone. So the people who was always there, they're still there, just
Right.
more. But like now, I'm getting reached out to, but like people I ain't talked to in a very long time.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 2 brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay, all of them supportive.
They don't really seem to care.
Then
We don't talk much.
and where are you in this? 6. What number are you?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
I'm the oldest. They used to, I don't know how they feel now. We don't talk much. They used to look up to me and say they admire me. But over the years, it seems like our relationship faded. And those were the relationships that was the most important to me, because all the prayer, all the working, writing every night, I was like, I'm going to change my family life. I'm going to change my mom life. I'm going to change my siblings' life. All this was for them. It wasn't for me to be riding around in flashy cars and I want to buy my mom a house, and I thought I would buy my siblings a house, but like, I don't know what's going on right now.
When I hear you say this, it seems like that this pains you by the fact that not only are you making all these great sacrifices for yourself physically and mentally, but to not have the family support, it almost seems like it puts you in the place of being alone.
That's how I felt, which is why I went through the process of the surgery alone. Everybody asks why I didn't have anyone come with me, I felt like I was alone, so that's how I took it on. And I've come to the point where I have my mom as a support system.
Right.
But I've come to the point where I will only tell my problems to God. I will take up my problems to God. He will carry me. I don't need – I used to rely on people so much for support, and I felt like growing up I never had that. I used to rely on people so much, and I finally came to light that I got to be my support. I got to be – and that – is the reason my confidence is so high. That's the reason I'm here today, because I finally came to the conclusion I have to stop relying on others for support and support myself.
Do you think that you will be able to mend this relationship with your siblings? Are you going to reach out again, or are you done?
I won't say I'm there. We don't have any issues. We just don't talk. I don't care to mend it because I don't care about anything. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I don't care about anything anymore. I'm dead set, focused. This is going to be the year that changes my life and my daughter's life and my mom's life for the rest of our lives.
How old is your daughter?
She's 7.
Okay. What does she think about this?
She's very excited. Like, she's happy her dad's, like, famous. She's happy I'm taller. But she's always been, like, a very happy child. Like, anything I do, oh, Daddy,
right.
You did a good job. My daughter is 7 and tells me she's proud of me.
Right.
But I've been trying to teach her to that because, unfortunately, I don't think parents realize how much that weighs on a child, because unfortunately I wasn't told that so much growing up. My mom always said it, but I always wanted to hear my dad say it, and he just wouldn't.
I mean, I remember we had Felicia Rashad on one time, and she said that, you remember getting like spankings and whippings, and you said you may not remember what it was that you did, but she said you could remember everything that your parents said to you that was hurtful. You can remember exactly what it was, why they said it. She said it hurt worse than the spankings did.
Absolutely. So I will actually say, and my dad hopefully hears this, when I was a child, people said I would go to jail. They said I would end up dead. So as a teenager, those are activities I involved myself in because that's what everybody expected of me. But I realized that's the only time my dad would call me. He only called me when I was in trouble. And I got in big trouble one time. I got put on probation and didn't stop what I was doing. And he made a judgment call on my life. My mom asked him what should she do because she found out I was involved in some stuff and I was on my 3rd strike. And my dad told her to send me to my probation officer to send me to jail. And my mom made the decision not to. And I told her, I made a promise to her after I saw her break down crying in front of me. I made a promise I would change my life. That day, I dropped everything I was doing. That same day I made that promise to her, I dropped everything I was doing. I wrote my probation officer. I said, if you can get me off probation and steal my record, I will go to the military and I will never look back. And she held up her end of the bargain. She got me off probation, and I went to the military and never looked back.
So one of these jobs that you had, was any of these in pharmaceutical sales?
No.
Okay.
I was a combat medic in the military. That's not what we call it, but that's.
I'm just saying, you said you was doing these things that got on your third strike.
Oh.
What was you doing?
Oh, you mean that?
Yeah.
Not necessarily that. So I choose not to look back on my past, but I was just like stealing cars, getting into gang-related activities.
Okay, so you were involved in gang stuff
and stuff like that.
And
but it was
weapons.
never who I was. So unfortunately, it was never who I was. I was faking it. I was faking a persona. I never really cared for gangs. I accidentally ended up in a gang.
Yeah.
I stood up for myself when some guys jumped me, and next thing I know, I came to school the next day, and the rival gang was like, "Yeah, you one of us now," and it was pretty much it. And I was too insecure to be like, "Nah, I don't want to do it," because I didn't want to do it.
Right.
It was never who I was, but once I adopted that personality, it became who I was. But it never felt right. It never felt like me. I was faking. I literally knew I was faking it.
Wow.
So once I made that promise to my mom when she broke down, and once I wrote the PO, I promised both of them I'd never look back. I have been in a little trouble since then, but situations that couldn't be avoided, unfortunately, because of my past. But now I'm keeping my nose clean, 100%.
Yeah.
These last 2 years,
You've been straight and narrow.
I've been straight and narrow, like no trouble, no nothing. I did fight through a drug and alcohol addiction last year, but also God brought me through that. So
When you talk about not wanting, because going through a drug and alcohol addiction, obviously with the kind of surgeries that you've had, you got oxycodone, you got hydrocodone, you
That's why
got
I didn't take
Percocet, you got all these things. How did you say no to that? Because it's a euphoric drug. It's almost like it keeps you going into a happy place. How do you say no to that with that kind of pain?
So last year was when I started my journey to sobriety. I stopped drugs, I stopped alcohol around the same time that I made the decision to get limb lengthening, even though I didn't do limb lengthening until December.
Right.
But it's been about a year since I made the decision. They just booked the appointment out for. But I didn't take pain meds. I put my faith in God. I put my strength in God.
You took no pain medicine at all?
Only when I really needed it, and I took the absolute minimized dose they would give me. Like, I'd break it or whatever, and I would only take it when I had to.
So what was it they were giving you for pain?
They were giving me, so I don't know what it transcribes over to in America.
Yeah.
Because it was in Turkey.
Right.
But it was definitely, like, they did do opioids whenever you had too much pain.
Okay.
So for me, I wasn't sleeping because I wouldn't take pain meds. I was in pain constantly, and I smiled every day because God brought me this far. God has helped me through everything I've been through, so I continue to put my faith in him. And I have a saying that I said to myself every day in the mirror. I say, God got me, and I got me, so I'm good. And my other saying was, pray on it and stay on it, because I don't believe you can have faith without work.
That's right.
So you have to pray, and you have to stay.
Dynzell Sigers right here. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored.